Hello. This is Antya from Byte Shuffle. Thank you for always watching my videos. This time, I put together a guide on how to navigate in sideboard in the ANT mirror matchup when using the painter archetype. Once again, this video was recorded before the ban announcement. Starting next week, the videos will reflect the changes following the ban update. The content of this video serves as a cautionary tale. Always double-check your opponent's life total and your own graveyard. Let this be a lesson to remember. A quick announcement. I've been quietly tucking a link into the description, but I'm excited to officially share that I'm selling merch. I don't have the time to set up an e-commerce site, so for now, the items are listed on Yahoo Auctions. I'm also posting the concepts behind the images I usually share on X in the YouTube community section. I'm sure many of you have wondered why I chose certain images. If you're curious about the background behind them, be sure to check it out. Here is the deck list we will be using this time. With Hand Disruption and Vexing Bauble in hand, I can impose restrictions on my opponent right from the start, so I'll keep this hand. I'll use Hand Disruption to scout ahead. I took out Brainstorm. Since it's an ANT mirror, I'll play Lion's Eye Diamond preemptively. It's likely a version of ANT without green. The only land in my deck that can produce green is the Surveil land, so I cast Brainstorm. I stacked Ponder on top, followed by Veil of Summer. The effect of Surveil sent the card to the graveyard. I'll search for a tutor. I stacked Ponder, Beseech the Mirror, and Brainstorm in that order, then drew a card. I'll search for a tutor. I stacked Ponder first, followed by Lion's Eye Diamond. I'll convert Vexing Bauble into a draw. The effect of Surveil sent the card to the graveyard. I'm going all in. From here, I'll go for the combo route via the graveyard. Before sideboarding, I'd like to review the list we used. First, the conclusion. I will explain it step by step. Here are the cards to watch out for in an ANT mirror match. First, let's talk about Veil of Summer. This time, since my opponent is using the Grixis version of ANT, it's unlikely they are running it. However, Veil of Summer is one of the most critical cards to be mindful of in an ANT mirror. Next are graveyard hate cards such as Fairy Macabre, Surgical Extraction, and Nihil Spellbomb. To counter these, I include the Painter package. For sideboarding, I'll take out the core cards mentioned in the deck guide video. Here's an important point to keep in mind: be aware of your opponent's Veil of Summer. The color for Painter's Servant is usually set to black, but this time, I'll choose a color other than blue or black. Most of the cards in ANT are blue or black, so choosing a different color comes with minimal downsides. Furthermore, it prevents Veil of Summer from being converted into a draw and allowing the opponent to refresh their hand. For this reason, choosing a color other than blue or black offers greater advantages. Next, let's consider hand disruption cards like Duress and Thoughtseize, as well as counter spells like Flusterstorm and Consign to Memory. To counter these, I'll include additional hand disruption cards. Regarding basic lands, since the opponent isn't targeting my mana base and there's little benefit to playing multiple lands, I'll remove all the basic lands. Next, since the game often develops into a back-and-forth exchange of hand disruption, it is standard practice to play mana artifacts preemptively on the battlefield. Here's a rarely used technique for when you have Boseiju, who endures in hand but nothing else to do. The structure of the ANT deck allows you to chain cards together like this. I'll search for combo ignition points like Past in Flames or Ad Nauseam. At this point, with a few exceptions, you'll generally need 7 mana to execute the combo. Let's return to the scenario where mana artifacts were played preemptively. When you check the opponent's hand size and the number of lands on their battlefield, activating Boseiju, who endures targeting Lion's Eye Diamond, can sometimes help you stall and extend the game. Let's go over a specific example. Here's what the opponent's battlefield and hand might look like in this scenario. First, the opponent plays a land and proceeds to play Lotus Petal and 2 copies of Lion's Eye Diamond. Then, they cast Infernal Tutor and attempt to start their combo. The opponent's first Lion's Eye Diamond resolves and enters the battlefield. When they cast the second Lion's Eye Diamond, you respond by putting its activation on the stack. By activating Boseiju, who endures targeting the first Lion's Eye Diamond, you might deprive your opponent of the necessary mana, disrupting their combo and potentially extending the game. By carefully monitoring your opponent's battlefield, remaining hand size, and available mana, you might find an opportunity to capitalize on their position. Since there are no lands, I'll mulligan. I'll put Cabal Ritual on the bottom of the library. I'll assess the pacing and positioning relative to my opponent. I took out Duress, as it doesn't cause life loss. I'll play Lotus Petal preemptively. At this point, there wasn't much value in playing a land, so I held off. This serves 2 purposes. First, to swap it out if I draw Brainstorm. And second, as a bluff to make it appear that I'm holding up Veil of Summer. Since my opponent sent 2 cards to the bottom with Preordain, I used Hand Disruption to scout ahead, just in case. I'll search for a tutor. I couldn't find it, so I shuffled my library. I'll search for mana acceleration. I stacked Misty Rainforest, Dark Ritual, and Vexing Bauble in that order, then drew a card. I'll use Hand Disruption to scout ahead. I took out Dark Ritual. At this point, I passed the turn, but I could have gone for the win with the following sequence. Dark Ritual passed in flames, flashback Dark Ritual twice from the graveyard, Infernal Tutor Tendrils of Agony for the victory. I need to carefully check my opponent's life total and graveyard resources. Lesson learned. Thank you for watching up to this point. I apologize for the frequent play mistakes. I hope to improve at MTG together with everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving it a thumbs up. See you in the next one. This has been Antya.